Ed Arango here from Ed's Auto Garage, wanting to give a shout out to our show sponsor, Arango Insurance Services. Arango Insurance Services is a full service insurance agency. We do home, auto, commercial, and any specialty. We specialize in the automotive space. So if you are a restoration shop, an OEM shop, a componentry manufacturer, we're able to insure you. It's a great time right now to have your policy reviewed, see if we can save you money, make sure you are properly insured, and at least evaluate your policy. See if you're in the right spot. So give us a shout out at Arango Insurance Services. You can reach us at our website, www.arangoins.com, or give us a call at 949-887-1274. Enjoy the podcast. We'll talk to you later. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Ed's Auto Garage. This is Ed Arango coming to you live from, again, like always, from inside my garage here in Huntington Beach, California. Holidays have gone by. Welcome to 2022, and hope everybody's staying safe and good. Anyway, today I want to introduce you guys to a good friend. I've known her, longer than I have not known her, to say, from our lives. We've known each other since we've been kids. She is a professional in the motorsports industry, the racing industry. Today we're going to have a discussion with Judy Kean, and Judy is with now a company called EPARTRADE, and EPARTRADE.com is a business to business entity. So all you guys that want to buy a muffler or a carburetor can't go directly through her, unfortunately, because they do business to business trade. But it's very interesting. And for all my folks out there that are shop owners, performance team owners, race teams, you might want to take a listen here. So thank you, Judy. Welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm wonderful, Eddie. Thank you. Thanks for inviting me on. And yes, we've known each other since our high school days.
Yeah, so that's the beauty of it. I mean, it's funny because Judy and my wife have been friends first, and I knew my wife in high school, and Judy, we all went to high school together years and years ago, and so yeah, and we've just kept this friendship going on for forever, which is great. And so Judy, I know that, just to give everybody a little bit of background about Judy, I know you've been in the industry for a gazillion years. I mean, I think you've, outside of like jobs in college and things like this was kind of the motorsports and race industry has always been kind of like your whole career so far, hasn't it?
Well, pretty much. It's all I know at this point, really. I know the business of auto racing. Okay. It's different than watching a race car driver and knowing how he's racing. I just know business, distribution, and how it's all organized. I basically worked at performance racing industry for 20 years.
Yeah.
Me as a kid, I did not grow up in this field, but I learned this industry through Steve Lewis, who is the founder of PRI. And all my customers out there. I just listened, and I love this industry. And after PRI, which got purchased by SEMA, I also represented SEMA, a great trade show in Vegas that everybody's aware of, for 7 years. And a few of us left and created this live racing and performance distribution platform for the industry,
called EPARTRADE. Yes. So let's go back to a little bit to PRI, performance racing industry. And I remember hearing PRI, and back in the day, even when I was, when I was young, and I remember hearing it, but it was primarily kind of like a magazine catalog is kind of how I envisioned it. How did you, when you got out of school, how did you connect with them? Did you look up a job on the back of the classifieds of LA Times, or how'd you connect with those guys?
Well, basically out of high school, I had a little job here or there, but I ended up at Western Outdoor News. It's a fishing publication, fishing and hunting.
Oh, okay.
And then I saw this job opening at PRI, which was a trade magazine and a trade show. Steve Lewis hired me because I worked there, because it's a small family-owned company.
The fishing magazine that you were
Yes,
with.
it's a local regional publication, but because he was aware of that company and it's a very small family-owned, that was the mentality at PRI. Very well run. Steve would hire people that were good to people, that wanted to interact with you, and he figured you could learn this industry. And that's exactly what we did. It was just a very small family-owned, well-run, functioning company at one point.
So when you started with PRI, had Steve already had PRI going for a couple of years, or was it kind of a new company too? Did you kind of grow up with it at the same time?
Well, I didn't grow up with it. We know that. I hated car racing. So the joke's on me. Now I'm just a walking database of racing and contacts now, right? But PRI, I think, was around for 7 years at that point.
Okay.
First year, it moved into Indianapolis. And then, of course, the big upswing when NASCAR took off and racing took off. A trade show is only a reflection of the racing industry. So we just really took off in Indianapolis, and it was good.
So what was your role when you first started? What was the role? What was your particular gig?
Basically, I was in sales. I was one of 6 people there in sales, and really learned this industry, as I had already mentioned, through the industry. So I would sell exhibit space, but I would also sell the magazine. And then it to a point where just everybody would call me, oh, I need badges for this, or I need to join the AETC conference. I would just help them with anything. So basically, you just called me and I helped you through whatever we were dealing with.
Wow. So, I mean, so then you were there for about 7 years. You you were there.
I was at PRI for exactly 20 years.
20 years. Wow.
But also 7 of those years were representing SEMA as well, the performance and racing section there.
So did SEMA had been around already on its own for years and years, right?
50 some odd years, probably 53 years now. Yes.
So SEMA acquired PRI? Is that what ended up happening?
SEMA purchased PRI from Steve Lewis.
Okay. And is Steve Lewis still involved in the industry now, or?
Well, Steve's son, Michael Lewis, is racing right now with different Formula teams. And Steve is pretty much a mentor to people starting businesses. We talk to Steve Lewis every now and then. So he's brilliant in anything he touches in racing, succeeds. That's just Steve Lewis, if you know him.
So then you transitioned over to SEMA management, and now you're kind of with SEMA, still basically doing the same kind of thing, doing the sales and doing the promotion of the shows, I guess.
Yes.
Trade show sales for SEMA, I think, would be probably the biggest thing for Vegas and getting people on the floor, right?
Yes. Yeah. They have a magazine, they have trade show floor space, and they also sell sponsorships.
And sponsorships as well. So, and then from there, a group of you guys that also, was it just you and some other folks from SEMA, or also some others that came from PRI, went to SEMA, then went to EPARTRADE?
So how EPARTRADE started is we're a group of original PRI people, and our mentality is very much thinking about the small little racing business. That's how we all learned this industry from Steve Lewis.
Yeah.
really just trying to provide a tool here, a resource for this industry. And thank goodness we were launched 1 year before the pandemic happened. And I'm just very thankful we had that 1 year before the pandemic, so we got any little kinks out, and more people turned to us. And I think the biggest thing that happened with the pandemic was people were more open to Zooming and learning to do business in a new way.
So, I mean, I know from my own experience, and it's the same for you. We kind of came up in business and working, you know, from our school days to now in an era that started when there weren't computers and all that computer stuff going on. And then all of a sudden now everything revolves around the computer. Has that been a challenge for you guys? Has that been a challenge for some of these accounts or clients of yours?
Well, some yes, some not. And I'm on the older side here, right? So the younger kids just get it. The older people, such as myself, it's a new world.
Yeah.
It's a new world. And so what we did was we created this platform not to ever replace a trade show, but you know, if an exhibitor or a supplier exhibits in Indy 3 days and SEMA 4 days, that's only 7 days out of the year. So, you know, what about the other 50 weeks of the year? So there's social media out there, but this is an all new concept for our industry. So we have a lot of people that are resistant to change, but we are kind of marching forward and helping. I think if people came in with a platform like this that were outside our industry, people wouldn't be so open to the idea. But a lot of people have a lot of trust in us and trust our values and foresight, and they're jumping on board and we're helping them.
So that folks kind of understand a little bit about the platform at EPARTRADE. It's kind of, I guess you kind of have to envision it a little bit, because at first it's, I mean, for a layman, it's kind of first I had to wrap my head around it a little bit. But when you first kind of come to the homepage of epartrade.com, when you come to the homepage, you start seeing like just products. And I guess in my head, I have to think of it, when I see those products, I got to think of it as I'm walking a trade show with my badge and a bag and a bunch of samples and whatever. And I just happen to see this booth that happens to be the product that might be highlighted on your homepage. You know, and as you scroll through it, or I think sometimes on your page, things kind of move to the side. I think when you scroll through it or look at it, it's like as if I'm looking at another table, or I walk to another table. I mean, is that a good way to analogy for it? Or
so let me define it more. So the home page really has all new products, and that's the #1 reason people go to trade shows, to see the latest technology, services, and products out there.
Got it.
The top of it is new products. Then we have your regular product line. We have videos where people upload 2-3 minute videos on how to install something, or talking about their distribution. We have special dealer incentives, promotions, and then we also have catalogs, brochures, and the forms. So all these items are what a supplier would have in their exhibit booth. So you nailed it on the head there. But then the buyer, the people that typically have a badge, they register on the platform. And for them, it's very similar to walking the aisles of trade shows, seeing the latest from brands like AEM, Molly Pistons, Phytech, Miller Electric, all these brands, their latest products and content. But what I'm most proud of here too is that we have so many companies on here that you never even see at trade shows. So there's new technology out there that I've never seen at PRI or SEMA.
Well, the thing is for a small shop, you know, 3-man shop, whatever, small shops, it's expensive to go to a trade show, even if it's here in Vegas. I mean, you've got the time away from your shop's closed. You got hotel, you've got food, you've got just the time you're spending there, you know, And you know, if you bring an employee, you kind of have to pay the employee to do this, to be there. And they're kind of the employees like, yeah, hey, I get a, you know, business trip to Vegas to this trade show. But it is expensive. I mean, so you are offering for the smaller performance race componentry manufacturer, you know, that, hey, I created this widget and this is going to help your race car do this, that much better. You're giving them an avenue to showcase their product where they couldn't at SEMA, because it was like, man, it's gonna, you know, a weekend at SEMA is gonna cost us, you know, $8,000 to go, you know, and that's a lot of money for smaller shops.
Yes, it is. And so we're providing this extra tool here that's very affordable, Eddie. You know, you've got the time, like you said, travel, closing down your shop, booth space, any marketing that you might do, food, lodging, partying, all that.
Yeah.
Just all adds up. And so this is just a new tool, making a trade show contact, a high volume repeat buyer. It's just another avenue to get there. Then companies could also display at the end of the year, you know, so it's not one versus the other. We just see ourselves as a new tool, which is live. This platform's changing constantly of new products and racing businesses.
So Judy, so being business to business, you're dealing with people that maybe the producers, the manufacturers of whatever this gizmo is, whatever their widget is, and they're selling it to another business, and that business may be turning around and retailing it to somebody or selling it out to the public, right?
Exactly.
So that business that is basically the retail end of it, not the manufacturing side of it, the retail, does this guy, this guy is not going on to EPARTRADE to promote anything. He just he's the shopper.
Yes, well, let's define it. Consumers are not on here. There's social media out there, right?
Right.
Anybody like a retailer, a warehouse distributor, a supplier, which is a manufacturer, service provider, distributor, engine builders, professional race teams, anybody that's categorized has access to this platform. There are resellers on here.
Yeah, so like a resale, let's say even an engine builder might go to EPARTRADE to find bearings or pistons or camshafts or whatever, certain things from manufacturers there. Now he's building this race engine because he's either gonna, he might be a team, or he might be a builder for a team that he's turning around. He's selling it, selling that engine to somebody. So that guy doesn't necessarily isn't necessarily building the engine to turn around and go back to EPARTRADE and highlight their engine. Hey, look, I've got this complete engine for sale.
No, not necessarily. And as I mentioned to you, I did make a visit yesterday to exactly what you're saying. I walked into this engine builder who is also a dealer of racing product. So every company is a little different. You just have to how they sell and their business, right? So we are not e-commerce, so people do not buy and sell on our platform. We just make a connection. So let's just pretend that this engine builder is using CP pistons, okay? So he could have a question about a piston on there, and he will email a message and it goes to them and they connect off the platform and do their business. Or maybe he wants to look for new product to use and be a dealer for. He could do it through the platform. So again, we just make that connection. There's no selling or buying on the platform.
So is the dealer business guy, is it a membership to EPARTRADE? Is it how does?
Yeah, it's business to business, no membership. So it is free for the entire industry to be on there. We just qualify them to make sure they are a racing business. That's
Mhm.
just like how a trade show should be, just free for the industry.
Wow. So then if I happen, if I, if, so if I'm a business, I know nothing about EPARTRADE, but I happen to go on and I am a business. Um, how do you qualify that person so that you guys know it's a business? You guys ask them an array of questions before they're able to even connect to send a manufacturer a message or something, or?
So it's funny you say that. I just spoke to somebody this morning. So somebody registered with us who's making a track ointment product he's right now in aerospace and does all the, where the planes land and deals with all these airports, but he's making a product now that's going to cross over to racetracks. So number one, we talk to everybody. Number two, they have to have a legit website
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
so we do qualify them.
Okay. So yeah, so you guys do a little due diligence and just kind of check up on, make sure that these guys, are who they say they are. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Really good. Really good. So then, let's go back a little bit more on Judy Kean, just because I like talking about Judy Kean. Um, so you kind of got back, you kind of were in this industry that started transitioning to maybe, I would imagine there was a period of time that even during the PRI or SEMA days that it was the magazine was maybe not as poignant as maybe some of the trade shows were. Maybe they were falling off, or did the magazines always maintain their steadfast there with businesses?
Well, that's kind of hard to answer, Eddie, because the world's just changing.
Yeah, that's why I mean that.
I use Google Maps all the time. Nobody uses phone books anymore.
Sure.
Everybody just downloads. So, print was just slowly decreasing some, but I still like reading magazines, but we are just doing something different here that's affordable for the industry and just helping them move forward. That's all, so I can't answer your question.
Yeah. No. But you did because it is the fact that the industry changes, everything's evolving and changing. So yeah, people are going to, instead of going to the phone book to go look at something up, they're going to obviously go to Google. They'll just start Googling all over the place now. I guess is the catch-all. I guess I answered my own question in a sense there too. So
yeah, but what's fun? It's like seeing all the activity on the platform, because it just grows and grows, and people are going to our platform using it more of a resource, a Google directory, because that's what it is. It lists over 29,000 plus racing businesses. And if you have interest in pistons, you could line up all the manufacturers of pistons, the distributors, the service providers, like coating companies, similar to Calico Coatings. So this platform serves as a Google pretty much for our industry, racing performance. And we cover every aspect of racing, from grassroots up to F1 teams.
Yeah. So I was going to ask you a little bit about the grassroots stuff, and maybe even I know a lot of racers and people in the racing industry, they cut their teeth like in karting. And do you guys have a lot of karting folks involved in on your platform?
Yeah. Yep. Karting, every category too. And you're right. You start off like in quarter midgets or karting and work your ranks up, correct? But we even have tractor pulling. We have marine. We have dirt late models, sport compact, just every facet of racing.
So tell us a little bit more about Race Week. I think you guys just had your second race week.
Yes, Race Industry Week. We produced 55 hours of racing content. So
55 hours, people. This is 55 hours of just racing talk at all levels.
Yes. So we had a lot of key industry leaders like Zach Brown and Doug Yates and Michael Andretti, and I even had some fun with Linda Vaughn and Mario on together, right? But in between there as well, we provided a lot of technical information from our upgraded suppliers on here. So 55 hours, it was great. I don't know how we're going to do any better next year, but we just produced a trade show for the industry. And again, when people register on this platform, all these, I don't know how many, we had over 100 different webinars on here. All that content's online for the industry.
So it's kind of funny because I see the race week. Okay, so I see the whole platform as going to a trade show 24/7 every day, all the time, the platform. I see race week as when you go to these trade shows, you'll get like your booklet of, hey, these, and then these are all the seminars that are coming up for the trade show while you're at the trade show. And again, we all have to realize that these trade shows that we all go to, it's only for those days. It's usually going to be, maybe Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and they're gone. And the seminars are usually going to be, Friday, Saturday, and half of Sunday, and they're done with trade shows. And what they've done here at EPARTRADE is they've been able to create these, like Judy said, 55 hours of, there's 40 hours in a work week, 55 hours of trade show, seminar type of information that you're going to get. So there is an agenda. You see when the certain seminars are coming up, or webinars, I guess you could call them. They're all online, and all you do is just kind of log in when the right time, if you want to see it live. But regardless, if you don't see it live, in a couple of days, it's, they'll be reposting them out there. So they're out there now. From race week was just about a month ago now?
Probably about a month ago now, and everything's been uploaded to the platform. So of course people could register and go on and see it. But this platform really is like 24/7, 365 days a year. It is always there. And we're at trade shows are limited to a few days.
Yeah. Now, if I'm just a business, I don't sell anything on the platform, am I still able to see the seminars?
As long as you're a racing business.
As long as you're the racing business, again.
Yeah. And that could be a race team. It could be an engine builder,
Yeah.
It could be a sanctioning body. It could be you're an owner of a racetrack.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I mean, coming here from California, I mean, I don't think of it. It's kind of hard to wrap your head around a little bit. Yeah, people actually, Joe Blow may own a racetrack. Some guy may own a racetrack and just have people come down and race at their track. And yeah, I guess you see that more, in the Midwest and back east and things like that. I would think there's probably a couple around here.
It's very regional on these tracks. Even Northern California has a lot of racing there. But even when you go on Race Industry Week, you're going to see, we interviewed some racetrack owners. We did a lot of, Ralph Shahian had a group of very grassroots type of racers that he was interviewing. I just wanted to make sure that we had grassroots up to the F1.
Yeah, exactly. The high end stuff, the top thing. So what do you think, if I was to ask you, Judy, regarding EPARTRADE, what would you think is so far your most exciting aspect?
Well, the days of launching new product for the industry at the end of the years, that's over. Companies are constantly launching new product and technology all year long. So I'm most excited about on this platform is that we're constantly having new product out there, and that keeps buyers continuously coming back to the platform. So for me, one of the reasons I left my past job is I wanted to make sure we're helping those small little companies. So when we get new little companies on this platform, I mean, they're showcasing their product just like having a booth next to a 50-year exhibitor. So for me, it's personally having all this new products, new companies that have launched their business with us and putting their trust in us, and hearing that this platform is working, that they make connections overseas or locally, but it's working.
I think one of the things you kind of said it right now when you mentioned about connecting, even these small guys, right next to these big guys. I think that just the auto industry itself, or the auto lifestyle culture, racing culture, motorsports culture, lifestyle, is very, very friendly and very united and very family-ish, in a sense that I could be a small little guy not knowing diddly squat about anything, and I could be talking to to Chip Ganassi standing next to me, and you have that that commonality of motorsports, and it kind of brings everybody kind of at that moment a little bit to the same level of kind of having a conversation. And it's because of the love of motorsports or racing. I mean, do you see that in the industry?
I do. After being in this industry for 23 years, I mean, and it's probably the same with any industry, but this is a very family-oriented industry. Everybody knows everybody after you've been in it for a while. But the one commonality, I think, and these are a can-do mentality of people in this industry, whether you own a race team or a small engine builder shop. I mean, there are no hurdles. They just know how to get around and make things happen. So I just think this industry is just forward thinking, and nothing ever blocks them from getting something done.
Judy, another question that I have is, you're in a male dominated industry. I mean, there's only been a handful of really strong women that have been in the industry. What's your take on that?
Well, I grew up not thinking like that, Eddie, not thinking it's a factor in me achieving anything or doing anything.
Right.
I just step into a position, and if you're good to people and listen and follow up and give good customer service, that's your number one thing to accomplish. After a while, I would talk to customers on the phone, and they were quiet, and they started like going, well, I'm just jotting down what you're suggesting to do. And I think after a while you earn some respect in this industry, whether you're a male or a woman.
Yeah. No, I agree with you on that. And I think that it really holds where you you show that you know what you're talking about. And when they kind of, grab the, that, oh, she knows what she's talking about. Cause I mean, I'm sure it happened. I'm sure it's happened, in, 20 years ago, 15 years ago, where it was like, oh, hey, here comes that cutie, Judy, or, it kind of a little all boys club type of a mentality. And, but as long as you never, obviously you never thought of yourself as victimized or anything like that by any male. And I'm sure, I've known you, so I'm sure you would be able to put somebody in their place if it went sour. But the thing is to be able to say, to know what you're talking about, and then that's where the respect really comes in, regardless, man, woman, whoever. It's just being able to know that, to let them know that you know what you're talking about. And I think that's what kind of resonates the most.
Yeah. And sometimes, it's funny because you're just making me think about it. Sometimes at initial phone call, you hear some hesitancy, but when you start knowing what you're talking about, and help guide people, then that trust and respectability comes along with that.
And I think that, I mean, even with talking with some of these smaller shops and stuff like that, maybe they're smart enough to realize that there's probably another perspective of maybe how they do something, or how they find, or how they function this part of their business or something like that. And I'm sure that way back in your beginning, a lot of people would reach out to you to ask for help on certain things that they didn't, they were like, hey, I'm really a wrenching guy. I don't know much about this part of the business or the marketing. Can you help me?
Yeah, it's so funny because, I still help people. I still get calls about PRI, and I've left there 3.5, 4 years. I still help them and tell them what they should do for getting a booth and how to promote themselves. And so I just help people, because ultimately that's all that we should be doing, is helping people.
What's in the future for EPARTRADE? I mean, any expansion, bringing on more content to the platform, more functionalities to the platform? Are we going to have a EPARTRADE network where we watch stuff, TV show 24/7?
You have capitalized on all that, and you're so right. We have evolved, Eddie. I mean, I never thought we'd be producers of tech webinars and the library that we currently have on technology, right? And I constantly hear how people just love the content on there. That's great. Probably the more it bores me, I know, the more our industry loves it, because it's over my head. Okay, I'm not technical, but we've evolved into that. We're doing Race Industry Week. We've now produced 2 race industry entire weeks of 55 hours of content. We're constantly improving this platform, and just the more companies we get involved on this platform, both buyers and suppliers, the more activity there is on the platform. So we're just constantly evolving and trying to make this a better tool for the industry.
Judy, the old, like, because next year we'll have race week number 3, and then it'll continue 4 and 5 and 6. So the library of those old webinars, those older ones, like year 1 and year 2, will those still be accessible as time goes on?
Yes. We've really learned how to do this, and the help of Paul Fanner over at racer.com, we've learned how to give these tech webinars an extended life.
Yeah.
So, we have some of our tech webinars that we have done live, and people have asked to become dealers right on in front of our eyes, right then and there. They've asked to buy race cars. I mean, so you see the current activity, but these technical webinars have 1,500 hits. I mean, they have a lifespan of their own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
telling you, it is a who's who on these technical webinars. We have WDs, we have professional race teams from all over. We have engine builders. It is I can look down that list and I'm impressed. You can't talk to 300 companies at one time anywhere. And some have registration like that. And it is impressive to me who's on these.
Well, I mean, I know from my experience, just, being on the internet, not necessarily on EPARTRADE, but whenever I bring up or mention to somebody that might be in the performance industry, do you know about EPARTRADE? I'll usually get oh yeah, I know about those guys, or I'll ask them, are you part of, do you know about EPARTRADE? And then I find out, I'll go in and look, and I'm like, oh shit, I should have first looked it up. Yeah, they're already on the platform, so I mean, it's very cool. I think what you guys have done is phenomenal. I think that it is the way of the future for this industry. And in a weird kind of odd way, the fact that we've kind of been going through this whole lockdown scenario in a way has kind of almost maybe been beneficial to a degree to you guys, because people are kind of stuck behind their computers.
Yeah.
You
know, when you say that, Eddie, when the initial lockdown happened, our activity on the platform like spiked up 750%.
Yeah, jeez.
Or I would have to help people get on Zoom and say, you know, just let me help you. I had never Zoomed before I left my last job. And, you know, I would help people get on. I even helped Bill Simpson get on. Okay. So, but now everybody knows how to Zoom. It's not even a factor.
Yeah.
You know, yes, it certainly did help with the pandemic happening. It's a shame it even happened, but
Sure.
I'm glad we were in place before that occurred.
Yeah. All right, Judy. Thanks so much, Judy, for spending, you know, this time with me here. Kind of, you know, I think it really helped to understand a little bit more on how the platform works. It's great to hear your story. I love it, you know, and you're dear to my heart. So, you know, you and I and Yvette were peas in the pod in a sense.
Yeah,
so
yeah. Well, I thank you for this opportunity very much, and I'm so thrilled to see how much you're evolving yourself and your interest in cars and motorsports. And look at you now doing your podcast. So
yeah.
And thank you for being on EPARTRADE. Appreciate
Yeah, no,
it.
thank you very much. Yeah, I do enjoy it, and it's a great avenue. It's great exposure. So again, thank you so much, and you know, I'll talk to you in a couple of weeks.
We'll talk soon. Thank you.
We'll talk soon. All right. Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.